All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving our praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. And today is Monday, February 10th, 2025, Missile Monday. And I have this article from Newsweek. And it reads, Putin fires head of space agency amid nuclear failures. So I'm just going to go into this article and bring out a few scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. And it says, Vladimir Putin has dismissed the head of Roscosmos in a move which follows a series of setbacks for Russia's space agency during his time in charge. After serving for 2.5 years, Yuri Borisov has been replaced by a former deputy transportation minister in what Russian media reported as a sudden decision. While the Kremlin has said that the reshuffle was planned, a prominent Russian Telegram channel linked to the country's intelligence services said that Borisov's removal was linked to problems faced by Russia's Sarmat missile, which is central to Moscow's nuclear weapons ambitions. And it says why it matters. Putin boasted about Russia's missile capabilities and the prospect the head of the country's space program was fired because of shortcomings in the program might point to concerns Moscow has about developing weapons. It says what to know. Dmitry Bakhanov, who led the state-backed Garnet satellite communication system between 2011 and 2019, has been announced as the new Roscosmos chief. He replaces Borisov, who was put in charge of the space agency in July 2022, 5 months into the war Moscow started with Ukraine, during which time many of Russia's former space partners cut or reduced their ties. Since this complicated Russia's launch and exploration plans, and in August 2023, he presided over the failure of Luna 25, the first moon mission in modern Russian history. He also signed off on a Russian space station whose first module was who was supposed to have launched in 2027, but it has been delayed to 2028. And there has been other problems with the country's production of satellites. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said there were no complaints against Borisov and the reshuffle was part of a planned rotation. Russian space expert Vitaly Yegorov told Radio Svoboda, if I pronounced that correctly, that Borisov had stopped the collapse of the country's space sector, which had been hit hard by sanctions. But the Telegram channel Cheka OGPU, which is linked to the Russian security agencies and often reports government insider sources, said that Putin has been angered at the problems faced by the RS-28 Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile (ICBM). In September 2024, satellite imagery appeared to show a launch failure at the Plesetsk or yeah, Pleset, Slovakia, at the Pleset Cosmodrome in northern Russia of the missile, which is central to Putin's plans to modernize Moscow's nuclear arsenal. The missile's ejection tests and flight testing have been reportedly delayed and has previously had at least two canceled flight tests, at least one other flight test failure. Slovakia. At least one other flight test failure, according to the Royal United Services Institute RUSI, a London think tank. Cheka OGPU's post said that the problems with the operation of the Sarmat have not been resolved. There is no proper electronic component based Slovakia base for serial production, and the full range of testing has not been carried out. The Post also said that Borisov may be charged with embezzlement of state funds from over a decade ago when he was Deputy Minister of Defense, although it did not add any further details in the Telegram channel's claims have not been independently verified. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on this one. But, the main thing, of this article is that Russia had a failed, nuclear test. They had a broken arrow, you know, pretty much, it didn't take off or perform how it was supposed to perform, but understand that in the midst of World War III, there aren't going to be any broken arrows. Once these missiles are launched, they're going to hit their targets. The Lord's Spirit is going to be, in these missiles, guiding them to their specific targets, which is going to be primarily here in America, you know. So I'm just going to grab a few scriptures. Don't want to make this one too long. So I'm going to start in the book of Revelation, chapter 9 and verse 12. And it says, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. So, right, one woe is past. That first woe is World War One. World War One, has, come to pass already, in the early 1900s. If I'm not mistaken, it was between the years of 1915 to at least 1919, 1920, something like that, you know. So that first war was past, World War One, you know. So I'm going to jump to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. And it says, the second one was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, the second woe is World War II. World War II has come to pass already, again, taking place in the early or really, the late 30s. I want to say around 1939 to around 1945, in between that time frame, World War II, which was a very devastating war, you know, but that's that second war, World War II. But what does it say? That third war cometh quickly, man. What is the third war? World War III, the war that is going to end all wars, man. This is the reason why these ICBM nuclear missiles are being created, you know, because those weapons in particular are what's going to, put a stop to, all wars in the future, you know, because again, man, these weapons are extremely devastating. They literally have the capability to destroy the earth, you know, but the earth won't be destroyed, just one landmass will, and what I mean by one landmass meaning utterly destroyed, being perpetually destroyed, wasted completely. And that's America, aka Babylon the Great. Various parts of the world, that are slated to get hit with these missiles, yeah, they will get hit. They're going to be destroyed, but they'll be built back up. That won't be the case for America. You know, Babylon is prophesied to be destroyed by way of fire, and that's what's going to happen. And this is not going to be a traditional war, you know. So I'm going to get that in Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. It says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." And right, man, it won't be a traditional war where you have a group of men on one side, a group of men on the other side, charging each other in a battlefield, with weapons of war, you know. It says it's going to be with burning and fuel of fire, man. What's going to cause that, burning those nuclear missiles, man? And these people are going to be the fuel, you know. So I'm going to jump to Isaiah chapter 54, and I'm going to grab verse 16. And it says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals, and the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." And indeed, these modern day scientists and physicists that are behind developing and creating these weapons of mass destruction, they are the modern day smiths, because what does a blacksmith do? They create weapons of war. And what are these scientists doing, man? They are creating weapons of war, weapons of mass destruction, you know. And again, to add to, my previous point, how it's not going to be a traditional war, which it won't. Now, you still will have ground troops that are going to be going, to war with each other. But again, this war is primarily going to be fought with nuclear capabilities, man. You know, once these missiles are launched, that's it. You know, it's going to end. That's going to end everything, man. You know. So I'm going to jump to Isaiah chapter 13, and I'm going to start at verse. Slakia, verse 4. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 4, it says, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land." So, right, you know, those missiles are going to make a great sound, man. And as you can clearly see from, the clip in the beginning, man, you can clearly hear. Imagine that, but thousands upon thousands of missiles being launched and making their way to hit America, man, because it says, they're going to destroy the whole land. What whole land? America. Babylon, man. That's, one of the primary purposes of these missiles being created to destroy Babylon, you know. So Slakia. So I'm gonna grab that real quick. Slakia, wrong book. I'm gonna grab that in Jeremiah chapter 51. Slakia. Jeremiah 51 and verse 1. And it says, "Behold, Slakia, Jeremiah 51 and 1, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts." So, right, man, even these other nations, even America's allies, are going to turn on her, and they're going to shoot their missiles over here as well, man. Just like it says in Revelation, 17, these shall hate the whore and burn her with fire, roughly paraphrasing, because all of these nations are angry or are going to be angry, at the whore, because again, America is that great whore that is spoken of in the book of Revelation. She's made deals with these different nations, and these other nations are also in bed with America, you know, but they're going to aid in that destruction. The main nation that is going to destroy this place is going to be Russia, you know. Now, that's just on the smaller scale, Russia is going to destroy America, it's obvious. But on a much grander scale, it's going to be our Lord Yahweh Shai along with the angels, you know. So I'm just going to end it on this. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 7, and verse 1. It says, "And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads." And right, man, this is 4 literal angels holding back the 4 winds, the 4 winds being the destruction. 4 literal angels are holding back that destruction that is going to take place at a particular time, you know, because like it says, man, until the elect are completely sealed, this won't come, the destruction won't come. Ultimately, we know after, Revelation 13, 16, and 18 takes place, the mandatory implementation of the mark of the beast, once that takes place, then things are going to speed up, you know. So like, yeah, then I'm going to end it with this. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 9, and verse 15. And it says, "And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men." And right, man, there's a particular hour, day, month, and year when this war is going to take place, this great destruction is going to take place, you know. And it says, "For to slay the third part of men," because this destruction is primarily for one nation of people, and that is the nation of Edom, you know, because you have 3 classes of men on the earth. You have the sons of God, which are the biblical Israelites, so called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, all 12 tribes from Judah all the way down to Issachar. You have the sons of men, which are, the heathen nations, and you have the sons of the wicked, which are the nation of Edom, the Edomites, you so called white people, you know, that's who this destruction is primarily for, you know, that is what these missiles are going to do, the third part of men, you Edomites, man. Now you will have 2/3 of the nation of Israel, you wicked Israelites that are going to get caught up in that destruction. And, you heathens that weren't able to, return to your homelands to potentially escape this destruction, then you're just collateral damage. You're just over here to die, you know. But this judgment that is getting ready to happen upon this earth, this great judgment, is primarily for Edom. 2/3 are going to get caught up in it, and you heathens, you know. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the artists of Great Millstone, where I learned this truth from. And I like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say shalom.